What's up, my fine friends out there in YouTube land? Tyler O'Connor here, Simplistic Fishing. Back at you tonight to do some more lake breakdowns for you. That's right. We are on Choke Canyon Reservoir. We did the first video for Google Earth, and now we need to switch over and do the second video for you guys tonight. So stick around. Hopefully, I got some good stuff for you. Let's go. As I discussed in the introduction video, we are back on Choke Canyon Reservoir. Now, if you missed the video before, we actually broke down this northwestern side of the lake. So we covered all of this up in here. We moved down, back down around here. We went to that point. We talked about all those road beds, those pond dams. We actually finished right down here on the southern section of the lake, right here where this road bed is. So that's where we're going to start today. If you missed that video, I put some links up the top. You guys can just click those and that'll take you back to those videos, or you can go out to our lake breakdown playlist that's out there on our YouTube channel, and you'll find this lake as well as several other lakes that are out there that you guys can check out. So let's go ahead and just talk about this one. So we stopped right there last time at the road bed. We brought the image back to 2018, 2017, 2018. They're all the same images. And notice there's just not a lot going on over here in this section, but there was a pond dam right in here that you can see. So pretty decent little pond dam that you could fish around. Again, the water's way down in this image. And in fact, right now and today, it's still 19 foot down. So it's quite a bit of ways down. But even with the water being as far down as it is, there you should still be able to get up there and fish around that pond dam. So definitely take a look at that for sure and see what you can find. All right, so I'm going to move this back to 2018, 2014, wherever it's going to take us. Now let's just keep moving down. I didn't see too much over in here. Wasn't really much I could mark for you. I didn't see any rock or anything like that. This spot right here looks somewhat interesting, but I can't tell what the heck it is. These look like old ponds maybe. So there's one there and there's one here. And there's a couple of them right in here. These could have some potential. Definitely if they're up there and it's shallower water in there, that's really the only little deep spot, deep depression that they can relate to. So you may want to check out those spots and just see if there's anything relating to them. They're right in there, but we didn't mark them because there wasn't anything too spectacular about them, other than they were just different than everything else on the map. So let's keep moving over here and get to where we can actually see some stuff to fish around. Now there was this spot right in here. I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like a pretty straight line right in there. So maybe that's a possible old roadbed, a pipeline, something like that. So maybe check that out. Again, didn't see much in here at all. You got a little hump over here, but there wasn't any rock or anything on it, anything spectacular. Now, as you did swing back in here, though, you finally get into a couple areas where it looks like you may have a little bit of rock right in here and a little bit of rock right in there. So maybe check those two spots and see if that's rock. Not a lot of rock around in this area, but there is some more up here. You can see we've got a little rocky ledge going on right in here. And then you've also got a really good pond dam that's up here as well. And then some more rock right there in that little point. Now, the other thing you have over here is a massive pond. So a big old pond right here as well. And that little opening that I talk about in a lot of the videos where I'm saying, find the pond dam and find where you have those little 2 points where the creek channel comes out. And that's typically going to be your higher percentage area to fish around the pond dams. Also make sure you fish the inside of the pond dams in here as well as the outsides. So the pond dam is definitely going to be good for you. Let's keep moving up. Some more rock right in this area, just coming off of this point. Definitely a little isolated patch. You got the same thing going on over here, another little isolated patch of rocks. Just not a ton of stuff going on in the bank line on this one. Now over here, we've got another road bed. So of course you could check that road bed out. And if you look at it when it's, when the water's up, I guess to where it's at right now, which this image right here would be like 40% full. But when the water is up 40% full, you can see that roadbed is still pretty well under the water. So definitely go over there and check out that spot. I think it has some pretty good potential. Then coming up here, pretty decent little point. Not a lot of rock or anything off of it, though. Didn't see anything special there. There's a ramp over here. This is the South Shore boat ramp, so you could launch right there. There's also some rock that's right over here. If we zoom in, you'll start to see it. You can kind of see it scattered throughout the landscape, but right in here would be a really good hard spot for you guys to check out. Looks like there might actually be some rock right in there as well, so maybe check it out right in that section. Then moving down here, we just get down to the dam over here. There is some rock over here by the dam. kind of scattered over here. It looks pretty shallow. Not sure if that's going to be good for you guys or not. And then we just move up the dam and go to the other side. So let's move on up here. And let's get over here to the other side. So right here where the opening of the dam is, there is some rock that's around here. There's a pretty good point that comes pretty far out here. You've also got some rock that's right over in here. You got a little bit of debris going on or something right in there. So I can see this area being a good area, especially right in here with all this rock. Got rock there, and then you got a really good rock ledge going through there. Of course, you could fish it up until about that point, and then you're probably not going to be able to get past the marker there. But we definitely look in there. Look at the rocks on both sides of these. This is going to be a really deep channel for you guys to take a look at. And then as we move further up here, just a couple different spots, these little crop outs that have this rock. So right here, you've got a little rocky area. You've actually got a little ditch right there that you can kind of see. So you can check those out. You've also got some more rock up here. This looks like a potential like old pond dam maybe, where an old pond was here. And then this is the pond dam. So you got a little bit of rock there and a little bit of rock over here on this side. Real big flat area up here. We get out in here and we start getting into some trees. So just some really good like stick ups right around this saddle. So I could see those having some potential. Pretty isolated little group of trees. You got the same thing right here. Little isolated group. You've got rock that's on the back side of that island. And then you've got another group of trees really on this side too. So trees kind of surrounding that whole little island. Definitely be a good place to check out if you're into that kind of thing. A lot of people don't like to fish the trees like that. Now, as we get further back in here, obviously all kinds of trees and stick ups that you could fish too. You could flip timber. You got a little rock point that's back there too. You could look at. You got more of that timber and stuff right in here in this little saddle. You could check out, and then you got rock off the front side of this island. So if I zoom in here, you'll see it. Some really good, like chunkier rock and stuff like that to be able to fish around. So I could see that having some really good potential for you guys. Now let's keep moving up over on this side. Again, just following these points. A lot of this stuff just looks like some brush and stuff and just dirt and crap. But then every once in a while, you'll come up to a spot that has like a hard spot. And this right here is a really good hard spot to take a look at. It's right in the middle of all that thick stuff, but a real good hard spot that's right there in that area. As we move further back in here, not a lot going on. There was an old pond dam back there, but it doesn't look like the lake's going to get full enough for you guys to be able to fish it anytime soon. And then we can also come over here, and off the edge of this point, there's some brush or something going on, some laydowns right here off the edge. So maybe check that out right in there, see if you can find anything relating to those laydowns and that brush that's in that area. You can also come a little bit further up here. Real good pond dam there, but the water's just not up high enough. If the water got up high enough, that would be a really good pond dam to fish around. And then back here, you can see where it's way, way low in this picture, but still just not a lot of things to mark out. You probably could maybe mark right there as a hard spot, and just fish the hard spots that are on these little flats. You might have some success there. Also moving down here, we've got a couple more trees that you could take a look at. They look pretty decent. You got a pretty good little rock that's out here as well. So if you look at this point, there's pretty much all the same, but if you look right off the edge of it, it gets pretty white right in that area. And that usually means that there's some rock in the area or at least a hard spot there. So that point would be a really good point to focus in on. You could also look at this one as well. It's got some rock right off the edge of it. You may even have a little bit right in there too. You can kind of see it just barely sticking up through there. And then moving on down, just again, more rock, right? We got a little bit of rock right here. We've got some right off the edge of that point. They just kind of form right on the edge of these points. We've got one right there. Got a little point kind of hump, saddle action, all kinds of good stuff going on here with some laydowns. So you got two different really hard spots with some laydowns and some timber around it. You've also got some more rock over here in this area as well that you could focus on. Let's zoom back out real quick and just show you guys where I'm at. We worked our way up the dam, and now we're coming around the side here. Of course, we talked about these different little points, that have these hard spots. There's one there, there's another one there. So we just mark those as rock. And then as we move further out, get around that point, again, we get into these little sections where there are these hard spots. So we got one right here, another one here, one there. And then really kind of got a little transition area going on right here. And this is all kind of rocky stuff all the way off that point. Then you kind of lose it again. You get back into a transition where you get into this rock just right in here off this point as well. So my hope is that rock would extend a little bit further out. and that those would be pretty good points for you guys to fish off of. Moving on up, really not seeing a lot on this bank line. There's a couple different hard spots to take a look at. You got one that's right in here. You got another one right there that may have potential. We didn't even mark that one. That was how confident we were that they would have fish on that one. That's probably the best one of all of them. And then just moving up, didn't see much. Not a lot to give you guys here. There's an old, looks like an old boat ramp or something maybe right in here. But again, it's going to depend on how high the water is. We take it to 2019. That's still not really under the water anymore. So, but that would be an interesting area to look at, especially if the water gets up. If we can get the water up 15, 20 foot and get the water up here where it's supposed to be, that comes into play big time. So you might want to check that out if the water ever did get back to where it's supposed to be. Now, as we move further back here, just a couple more spots. Got some rock right in that area for you guys to take a look at. And right here off the point, if you look here, we got some really good scattered rocks. So some scattered rock right there, and then some really good scattered rock right in this area. And I think these rock places are going to be really good for you because it's not like the whole entire lake is covered with rock. It's only in certain spots. And that usually really helps you out in trying to find the fish because you have more isolated areas to look at. So I think this lake sets up pretty well for that, to be able to really hone in on certain spots to be able to find the fish. You've got some more rock that's right out here as well. Again, be careful. There's timber all over the place in this lake, but a real good hard spot right there. You got another pond that's back here that you could fish. So if you were on that pond dam pattern, some pretty good stuff back in there. Pretty decent little opening as well. Some more of that rock just coming off these points. Every once in a while, you'll hit a point that has a hard spot on it. And those are definitely the ones that you want to focus on. Now, it gets pretty hairy back up in here, so I don't know how much you can get the boat back up in here without, tearing it up. But back in here, another rocky spot, little point that comes off. And then I was hoping to find a creek channel or something back here, but not really much. I didn't even mark it for you guys. You can tell the contours just are not that good. It doesn't even look like it washes it out very good. So I don't think that's going to be too great of a creek channel to really be focusing on, especially when you got that stuff just a little bit further north. So as we move further here, some more rocky areas, just a little rock off that point. This point has potential to have some hard spot right in there too. I just couldn't see any rock there like we could in some of these other spots. Got another hump that's out here. I don't know if that's Google Earth or not, but maybe check that out and see if that's Google Earth, that there's actually something there. And then moving down here, again, look at all this timber. There's timber everywhere. If you can get back in here, you've got a pretty good little creek channel that runs all the way through here. And you've got some pretty good turns on this creek channel too. So let me show you what I'm talking about as I zoom in. Obviously, getting back here would be just hairy as all get out, but maybe you can get back here. If you can, you've got some good potential here on this little creek channel. One, you've got all this cover, but a good little bend here with some cover on it. Another good bend right in there. A real sharp bend right here. So this would be a really good area to focus in on. This spot right here where the two creeks connect, you got these little miniature points. Those are always good spots to look at. Up here on this curve, you can look there. Again, lots of good bends. This bend's got a pretty good deep pocket, plus it's got a lay down on the inside. So you've got some pretty good potential up here if you can get back up in there. It might be one of those things where you have to idle back all the way back up in there, or maybe just even troll to get through all these trees. But if you can get back there, I could see that having some promise. And if you look really closely, I didn't want to do it because I don't want to be sued by anybody, but you may be able to develop yourself, create yourself a little path that takes you through these trees, kind of following that creek channel that takes you back out, back out here and gets you out of that timber. I'm not sure. Or there could be boat lanes for this lake too. I'm not sure if there are or not, but definitely something to look up to see if they have them. All right, so as we move further over here, again, hairy stuff. So not sure if you can come over here and fish this or not, but just some rock over in here. There's some rock off this point too. Tons and tons and tons of timber. Rock off these points. So if you can get up in here, I think there's some pretty good potential up in here. It's just being able to get to it is going to be pretty tricky. You've got some more rock off these points. And again, they're just like little random rock spots. If I zoom in here, you'll see it. There's not much going on here. And then all of a sudden, you got a little rock ledge going on right in that area. Again, it might be really hard to get back in there, though. I'm seeing so much timber. It's almost overwhelming. I mean, you can see it right there. It's just that entire thing has just got flooded timber. All right, so as we move further back over here, kind of getting close towards the end here, off of the edge of this little island that comes out, if you zoom in really close, You got a bunch of birds that are down here, but if you look underneath the birds, you'll see all this white stuff. See all this white stuff that's in here? A lot of times that's like shell or like really light rock. And I don't really know, maybe it is shell, I don't know. I'm not a scientist and I can't really tell by the image, but I'm telling you, when I see spots like this on Google Earth and I mark them as rock or shell or whatever you want me to mark them as, these spots have been some of the best spots that I found using Google Earth. I don't know what that white stuff is. I'm assuming it's shells, and that's probably why we're doing so well on them. But those spots have been really good to us. And sometimes they're just in random places. They're always on a hump out in the middle of the water or somewhere close to a creek channel or out in the middle where there's some current somewhere. But you'll always find them. And when you do, you really need to hone in on them because those can be some really, really good spots to fish. All right, so that pretty much takes us back here to the river where we started. So that wraps us up for our Choke Canyon Reservoir Google Earth side. The next video, when I come back with you guys, we're going to go out to Web App and Avionics, and we're going to take a look at all the offshore stuff that we have marked out here for you guys. Now, remember, this lake is 42% full, so some of our offshore stuff is actually not even going to be in the water, but we did make sure that when we were making those points that we gave you guys plenty of other things to look if the water was down this low. So I think we got a lot of good stuff to cover for you. Make sure you come back, check it out, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to go out to simplisticfishing.com and get your SD cards today. Until next time, hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.